Well, good morning, good afternoon, good day. We are on a 24-hour schedule, so we are all around the world. My name is Valencia Dantzler, also known as Mother Diva, and I am the executive director of Thriller Dance 2300, which is a nonprofit organization that continues the legacy of gifting that Michael Jackson started while he was in the flesh. We donate and give to the families and children of Gary, Indiana, which is the city that Michael Jackson was born in, which is the city that the entire Jackson family was born in and grew up at a little house known as 2300 Jackson Street. Today, as you all know, 12 years ago, the king of pop stepped out of the flesh and into the spirit world. And he is remembered all around the world by millions and billions of individuals. Um, Today is a day that we remember where we were at when we got the news. Today is also World Vitiligo Day. And for more information about World Vitiligo Day, you can go to www.25june.org. One of the reasons the organization named June 25th World Vitiligo Day is because today is the day that Michael Jackson, Mr. Jackson, got out of the body and entered into the spirit world. And for those who may or may not believe it, but he did have a skin pigmentation medical condition known as vitiligo. I reached out to this organization a few years back to actually partner with them because we want to continue to educate individuals about the disease, a condition, as well as share information on how you can begin the reversal process. This broadcast is known as our second annual Michael Jackson Legacy Lupus and Vitiligo Healing Conference. Now, let me tell you a little bit about how this um, conference came about. In 2019, it commemorated the 10-year anniversary of Michael Jackson passing away. And most years, people have gone to Forest Lawn where there was a ceremony where he was buried on September 4th, 2009, and put into the wall of the mausoleum or whatever they call it there. It's called Holy Terrace. In 2016, it was the first time that I actually went to the Forest Lawn Michael Jackson tribute gathering. My background is in film and television production. I actually lived in Los Angeles from 1988 to 2000. Um, what was it? No, 1988 to 1999. So I was 17 when I first moved to LA. I went to college. I went to Columbia College and got a degree in film and television production. I lived there 11 years. So when I was 28, I moved back home to Chicago, and I've been in Chicago or for the past, I guess it's been about 22 years because I'm 50 now. So during the time that I moved back home, which is in 1999, there were several years. Over the years, I've often gone back to Los Angeles for business. And the first time I actually went to Forest Lawn was in April of 2012. I met up with the Lilies group, which is a group on Facebook. I don't even know if they still exist. It was so long ago, but they would do purple flowers to go to Forest Lawn. And I met up with some people there because I happened to have been in Los Angeles on business. Um, that was actually the year that I went to the Grammys because I was a member of the Chicago chapter of the Grammys. And so I had an opportunity to go in 2012. And then I would go back and forth to Los Angeles. So in 2016, I decided to go to Forest Lawn. I went in 16, I went in 17. In 16 and 17, I had some events as well. 2018 we did a cruise here in Chicago. And then 2019, I returned for the 10-year anniversary, and I actually produced the order of service. Now, I want to be clear. The Michael Jackson community had been meeting at Forest Lawn and gathering there. I'm assuming since the Mr. Jackson passed away. However, I noticed every year that there was an order of service. They would around 2:15. They would hold hands in a circle, go around in a circle, find out where everyone is from. They'd open up with a prayer, a little affirmation. Then at 2:26, there was a moment of silence because that's when Mr. Jackson was actually pronounced deceased. And then there would be a singing of Heal the World and then a group photo, or either group photo singing of Heal the World, something like that. So basically, what I did as a producer, I wrote down on a piece of paper everything that they did in that order. And so I put it on a piece of paper. And for the 10-year, I brought in a DJ with a sound system and a microphone, and so people could perform. And it was really beautiful, the whole ceremony. There's plenty of video footage of it. I didn't think to load it in here because we're not really talking about that particular situation that happens at Forest Lawn, but just the background on how this got started. Michael Jackson's daughter, Paris Jackson, is like a daughter to me. We've become very close over the years. I met Paris when she was about 13 years old in Gary, Indiana. Now, I live in Illinois, and I live in a small town called Flossmoor, which is about 25 minutes from here to Gary. I'm actually closer to Indiana than I am Chicago because I kind of live near the border. So I can get on one little freeway called the 80 East, and it'll take me straight into Indiana. In fact, I can take the streets into Indiana. So I'm in Indiana all the time. I have a 24-hour gym that I go to over there when my gym closes down the street. So I had been talking to Paris, and she vented to me. And she said, you know, all these celebrations on the day Daddy died, I can't stand it. And it was nothing to celebrate. It was the worst day of my life. I hate it. And I understood her pain because I lost my father on June 5th, 1985. I was 14 years old, and my father was killed by a drunk driver. So Paris and I have this in common. In fact, Paris and I have um, so much in common that it's scary. When I look at her, I see myself as a young person. We've gone through some of the same things. She's going through things that I went through as a young person. And the irony is that both of our fathers were born in August. My father was born August 11th. Mr. Jackson was born August 29th. Both of our fathers took off the flesh in June. My father was killed by a drunk driver on June 5th. Mr. Jackson got out of the flesh June 25th. Both of our fathers had two funerals. My father had a funeral here in Chicago, and my mother was very adamant about flying his body back down south because my father's vision was to retire from the post office. He was going to work 3 more years, which he would have retired in 88, and he wanted to move back to Dumas, Arkansas. That's where my father's from, Dumas, Arkansas. And so my mother had a second funeral in Dumas, Arkansas, so his family would down in south would be able to memorialize him. And I, even though me and my mother didn't get along and her and my father were separated, I really thought that that was a beautiful thing that she did because he had family down south that would not have had a chance to see him in the casket and memorialize him because they couldn't make it to the Chicago funeral. And so Mr. Jackson had two funerals. He had a memorial service at the Staples Center. And then on September 3rd, it was either September 3rd or 4th, I can't remember. because it was 12 years ago. But he had another service for his burial at Forest Lawn, which was private for friends and family. Okay, of course, what happened at the Staples Center was public. So, and then both of our grandfathers are from Arkansas. My father's from Dumas, Arkansas. And my grandfather is from Dumas, Arkansas. And then let me look this up real quick. And Paris's grandfather, Joseph Walter Jackson, which was Mr. Jackson, Michael Jackson's father, was born, it says July 26, 1928, in Fountain Hill, Arkansas, which if Joseph had lived, he would have been 90, but he died on June 27, 2018, a month before, exactly 31 days before his 90th birthday. But now there are reports that he was born in 29. So, and my father was born in 29. So I'm not sure about that. But that's the irony of Paris and I's relationship. We have a lot in common. We have a lot more in common. Like, we battle with the same health conditions. I have asthma, sinus conditions, digestive issues, and so does she. I'm not trying to give her medical history, but she has shared a few things on her Facebook page about, her health. So I'm not exactly telling her business. And she talked about being sexually assaulted in her Rolling Stone interview. And this young lady has went through a lot. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that she was snatched from a specific environment that was disciplined and structured and on a schedule, going from that, moving into her grandmother's house where there were other children there and it wasn't the same structure or discipline. So this affected her life. Okay. And I don't want to get too deep, into all of that. We could save that for another show. Hopefully I'll get a chance to do something similar with her like she just recently did on Red Table Talk. I've just been waiting to get things approved through management and her agency. But at any rate, this is just leading up to why I started this in the first place. So I explained to Paris, I said, I understand how you feel. It's not a day of celebration. I said, but because your dad was so loved by so many people, it's not that they're celebrating his death, they're celebrating his life and what he meant to them. And I understand that you're not interested in going to the graveyard. You don't want to have to deal with that. And I try to convey this information to, and let me say this, because I have to say it like this. I feel that there are different subgroups of supporters or people who love, let me say people who love Michael Jackson in the Michael Jackson community. You have MJ fanatics, which are these bully type, obsessed people who Michael Jackson is everything their whole life. He's Jesus to them. They worship him night and day, and he could do no wrong. Those are the people that are very dangerous and that you need to stay away from because they have no life. And if you say anything that they don't like about Michael Jackson, whether it's true or not, they're ready to just jump through the computer and just, attack you. And they're not like, Jeffrey Dahmer or somebody. They're not like serial killers or anything like that. They're just, internet bullies. Okay. If you threaten to meet them on the street, they wouldn't even show up. Okay. So their bark is worse than their bite. They don't bite, they just bark. Okay. Then you have this group called the Believers who believe Michael Jackson faked his death. Then you have people like me who are sensible supporters. We actually have a title call moonwalkers, people who are advocates for Mr. Jackson and believe in the truth and will say what it is, and be real about it. The bottom line is Michael Jackson was a human being. He made mistakes like anybody else. And if we want to continue his legacy, I think it's important not only to learn from his greatness, but also learn from his mistakes to be better. He told Barbara Walters, if my kids want to get into this industry, then, go and do it better than me. Now, in Barbara Walters' mind, and as she even said that, is it possible for anyone to do it better than you? And if you think about it, the way you do it better than him is that you don't make the mistakes he made. Okay. You have to keep in mind, hey, Daryl, how you doing, honey? You have to keep in mind that, thank you for tuning in. You have to keep in mind that Michael Jackson doing it better is being different. That's the best way I can put it. Because you need to keep in mind, look at the life that he led. He couldn't have any privacy. Everywhere he went, he had to be in disguise. He was a prisoner of his own fame. So doing it better would be trying to live a life outside of that and not having to deal with that. You don't want to become so famous to the point that you have no life. Okay. Now, and I know people are hurt and they have a hard time dealing with it. But when I found out Mr. Jackson passed away, I actually got on my knees and I thanked Yahshua for releasing him out of the flesh. I said, now he is at peace. He can have fun. He can do any and everything he always wanted to do. He can have a normal life now. He can walk into Macy's. He can walk into the post office. He can do all the things that he always wanted to do and peace. Why? Because he has no flesh. He's invisible and nobody's going to bother him now. So in essence, Michael Jackson had to die in order to live. And I know for some of y'all, you can't wrap your mind around that, but I am elevated in my mind and spirituality. So I am actually happy that he is free now because he suffered in that body. And we're going to get into vitiligo, we're going to get into lupus. But going back to his daughter, Paris, when she expressed this to me, I made a vow to her. I said, Paris, I will not return to Forest Lawn in the celebrations anymore. What I will do on Daddy's day that he left Earth, I will produce the Michael Jackson Legacy Lupus and Vitiligo Healing Conference to expose these medical conditions and to share with information with people on how to reverse it. Because Michael Jackson had vitiligo and lupus. So let's turn this day into a day of healing. That is how I choose to honor his legacy. And she said, Mama, she called me Mama. She said, that is a wonderful idea. Type that proposal up and send it to me, and I will send it to the estate to see if we can partner to have something. Now, Paris is actually kind of living a similar life to her father because she can't even have her own tributes to him without the estate's approval. So any tributes to her father, she can't attend without their approval. Anything that I want to do, she can't attend. She can't co-produce. She can't do anything unless they approve it because she signed a contract. Okay, so whatever it is that she wants to do, it has to be approved. So some of you all that see the things that Prince is doing, Prince, before he started working for the estate, was in conjunction with the estate to do the Halloween parties Heal the World Los Angeles, which is his foundation, was to continue his father's legacy. So he has been on board with the estate and continuing these things and doing these things. And now he works for the estate. So they all have to approve this. Now, the way is a loophole. The way Paris can get around it, if I'm having a Michael Jackson tribute and she just happened to be walking past, then she can come in and say hello. But we could not promote that she was in attendance. So I just want to make that clear. So this is why I started these conferences, because I wanted to do something to make her happy. And now, last year it was COVID. I did go to LA. I went to Forest Lawn to meet the manager and the security to take pictures with them because I sent out some press releases on their COVID restrictions. But I did not go to Holy Terrace because I promised my daughter that I would not do that anymore, that I would not do celebrations on the day that he passed. Now, what we're also doing today in Gary, Indiana, rain or shine, it is called Love Never Felt So Good. It is a Michael Jackson tribute donation drive. We are giving away clothes, shoes, household items. Someone's going to win a $25 Speedway gas card. I'm giving away autographed poster of Michael Jackson's hand with his signature. I have 10 rare photos. Some are artistic drawings of him that I'm also giving away. There will be some performances. And I explained to Paris what I was doing, and she was okay with that because it wasn't just, oh, we're throwing a celebration, a memory about Michael. No, we're giving back to a community that doesn't have anything. Okay. Gary, Indiana is very poor, and those people don't have anything over there. So I went around and collected all kinds of items to give to them. I posted a notice on Nextdoor and got so much response. I want to thank Lucinda Dickey personally for being my sponsor and covering the expenses. For those of you who may not be familiar with Lucinda Dickey, she played Kelly, or Special K, in the movies Breaking and Breaking 2. And I reached out to her and she sponsored and donated. She sent me a big check or a big PayPal to cover what I needed to do to get that done. So without further ado, I want to move on. And I want to talk about vitiligo and lupus. So since today is World Vitiligo Day, I want to just share some information just to educate people. So this is a picture of Michael Jackson with the vitiligo. Okay. As you can see, he had very patchy skin. Okay. The vitiligo started somewhere back in the 80s. You guys can go look this up, which is one of the reasons why he started wearing the glove on his right hand, because he got a patch, a small white patch on his hand. Vitiligo is a skin condition that you lose your pigmentation over time. Okay. Now, some people believe that he bleached his skin. They believe that he was lying. It's not true. I met Joseph's niece. Her name is Marie. And when I first met Marie, Marie had a little white patch on her hand. And Michael did say that the vitiligo came from his father's side of the family. So it was Joseph's side of the family that had this problem. Okay. So I believe he was telling the truth. Also, if you do some research on his autopsy also mentioned that he had vitiligo. So what ended up happening, he had so much patchy skin, he just decided to go through a procedure that would just take all of the pigmentation and the color out of his skin, so it would be one one color. Okay, so it's not that he was trying to be white, because some people think that, but it was just challenging trying to balance this stuff out with makeup. And as you can see, patchiness here. So I just want to get into a textbook definition here. Let me see something. Okay, here we go. Let me hide this picture and let's get into this. Okay. All right. Oh, just want to remind everybody I am wearing my house necklace to represent house music. Let me go ahead. I don't know if you got, hopefully you guys can see this. I'm going to go and pull it up so I can give you this information. Okay. I'm going to read what it says there on the screen, because this is the definition of vitiligo. Okay. Here we go. Okay. What is vitiligo? Vitiligo is a condition in which white patches develop on the skin. Any location of the body can be affected, and most people with vitiligo have white patches on many areas. Vitiligo causes and risk factors. The skin doesn't have its characteristic color because it has lost its melanin, okay? So the melanin, it has lost in the skin. So for some reason, and it's apparent, this scientist doctor says unknown. For some reason, the pigment forming cells known as melanocytes have been destroyed. Now it says it may be an autoimmune condition where your body's defense turns on your own cells instead of attacking invading germs. Okay, so your immune system is there to attack germs and keep things flowing, and then you have a lymphatic system that extradites that stuff out. So what happens is an autoimmune condition will attack your own cells instead of attacking invading germs, which is causing these problems. And that's what we're going to get into talking about lupus, because lupus is an autoimmune disease that can cause vitiligo, and Michael Jackson also had lupus. So it says, although vitiligo affects all races equally, it's more noticeable in dark-skinned people. Vitiligo patients, now here is where we're getting into talking about reversing this problem. So I'm going to go into my email. This is not listed on here, but I just want to share this with you. This was something that was in the Young Living community. Young Living are essential oils that have been proven to create a balance of calmness and begin a healing process of whatever medical conditions that you have. So I got to get a little close to this. I may have to do I need to take my glasses off? Let me see. Okay. All right. So it says here that there are some essential oils that you can use to reverse the process of vitiligo. And there are the essential oils by Young Living. You want to look this up: sandalwood, frankincense, vetiver, Melrose, myrrh, purification, and sage. So the instructions are to apply behind the ears and to the back of the neck, then rub hands together or cup hands over nose and mouth and breathe deeply. This can also be applied to the VitaFlex points. What you would need to do is get the chart on the VitaFlex points, because those are different points in your hands and your feet, and they explain how to work that. It says rotating to the pineal and pituitary glands on the feet and the hands. So your VitaFlex points are on your feet and your hands, and they're connected to all the parts of your body. Now, I don't know if some of you all have been in the military, especially in the Navy, they teach pressure points. Okay, there are people, you need to watch out for military people because they could take two fingers literally and stick them somewhere on you and kill you instantly. You have pressure points in your body, okay, that if they're pressed the right way, they can heal you or kill you. It just depends on what the person that is doing it, they know what they're doing. They know how to heal you and they know how to kill you. So you got to be careful with that. Okay. So if you get the Vitaflex charts, it'll explain to you every part of your hand and every part of your foot that has every part of your body on your hand and feet. Okay. And so this is why it's saying that you want to hit the points of the pituitary glands and the pineal glands on the hands and the feet. Those are things that are in your brain and it can start healing. Another, just to share with you guys, let's see here. Okay, now, Tamika Odom was our guest speaker at our first annual Michael Jackson Legacy Lupus and Vitiligo Healing Conference last year. I was in LA broadcasting from that conference, and Dr. Shirley Lee was supposed to come on. She was Michael Jackson's personal nurse. In fact, she's supposed to come on tonight. It's like I can't never get her. I got her a couple of times. I don't know what happened tonight. I didn't advertise anything. I just said, on June 25th after midnight, I'm going to go live. I said, because I don't have time to do it in the morning or the afternoon because I got to get over to Gary and it may rain and I have to have tents and I'm going through all this craziness and I'm going to put this event together. So I said, I'm going to do it after midnight my time, which is still June 25th, although it was 10 o'clock in the evening in LA. But it's almost, in about 15 minutes, it's going to be June 25th in Los Angeles. So, but I'm sure, later on down the line, she'll come on and, discuss this matter, maybe next year, because every June 25th, we do this conference. And hopefully next year, I can get people like Toni Braxton, who has lupus, her sister, Tamar, has vitiligo. But I want to get through this portion of it so we can move on to lupus. Vitiligo patients have also reported a plant-based diet along with using Young Living myrrh oil mixed with olive oil has shown improvement in color returning. Now, Tamika Odom did start using the myrrh oil as well as the olive oil, and she did a plant-based diet and she saw some improvement. She did notice that her skin color was returning in certain areas. It was a slow process, but it began to reverse itself. So those are some things that you might want to look into if you are a person that's battling with vitiligo. Okay, so now I want to move on to getting into talking about the lupus. Okay, let me move this out. I'm back here doing everything myself. Okay, let's get this other one in here. Okay. Okay, so now I have to put, okay, so let me upload this one, you guys. Let's see here. Upload. Okay, yeah, I just downloaded that, so I got to put it in here. Here we go. Okay, so that's loading up. And I just put it in here. Wait a minute. I was trying to get the types of lupus. Okay, let me go back. Okay, here we go. So this is a picture of Michael Jackson when he was in his 20s. A lot of us thought this was makeup, but what this is actually lupus. Okay, and I am trying to load in the types of lupus. so I can read to you. Okay, now it says it's in here. Okay, let me move that. Okay. I don't know why this is not showing up. I'm going to try to put this in here one more time. And if I can't, I'm just going to have to read it myself. I did remove some things, and maybe I had too much stuff in here. Okay, let's see if I can do it again. Okay, there it is. Now I can show it in the screen. Okay, so I'm going to remove Michael's picture. Okay. So this is from lupus.org. Okay. And I'm going to actually open this up and read this so you guys will know what it says. And I tried to make it as big as I could. So if you guys can't read that, I'm going to read it for you. I just got to scroll down here because there are several different types of lupus. Okay, got it. Okay, so what is lupus? Lupus is a chronic long-term disease that can cause inflammation and pain in any part of your body. It is an autoimmune disease, which means that your immune system, the body system that usually fights infection, attacks healthy tissue. Okay. There are several kinds of lupus. The most common form of lupus is systemic lupus erythematosus, which is known as, or erythematosus, which is known as SLE. This is the most common form of lupus. It is an autoimmune disease which causes the immune system to attack its own tissue. We discussed that when we were talking about vitiligo. Causing widespread inflammation and tissue damage in the affected organs. It can affect joints, brains, kidneys, lungs, and blood vessels. Okay. Now, there's another form of lupus called cutaneous lupus, which is a form of lupus that is limited to the skin. Okay. That's not the same kind that Michael Jackson had. And I'll get into what he had. There's also a drug-induced lupus, which is a lupus-like disease caused by certain prescription drugs. Some of you guys that are out there taking prescription drugs and all of a sudden discover you have lupus, it might be the drugs that they're prescribing you that you're on that caused it. Okay, look into that. There's also another lupus called neonatal lupus, which is a rare condition that affects infants of women who have lupus. So if a woman has lupus, she can carry it, her baby can get it. Okay, so you need to watch that. Okay, so now Michael Jackson had something called discoid lupus erythematosus, which is known as DLE. It is a chronic skin condition of sores with inflammation and scarring, favoring the face, ears, and scalp, and at times on other body areas. These lesions develop as a red inflamed patch with scaling and crusty appearances. Okay, so okay, there we go. I was like, what happened? Okay. All right. So those are the 4 definitions. Now I want to show you guys, this is one of the reasons why Michael Jackson, and as you can see, I'm going to pull this information about lupus. We already read that. I'm going to pull that out. Okay. This is one of the reasons why Michael had the umbrella. And I know that a lot of you guys were like, people that didn't understand him, it's like, he's really weird. He's got an umbrella, he's wearing a mask. And think about this, Michael Jackson was wearing a mask in 1990. 30 years before we started wearing masks because of coronavirus. So he was someone ahead of his time. And his bodyguard, one of his bodyguards even said, and I have on my, you can see my Michael Jackson childhood t-shirt. This is the 2300 Jackson Street shirt where his head is on top of the house that he grew up in. Boss Man makes these shirts. If you want a shirt like this, I can, refer you to Boss Man. He's over in Gary, Indiana. You can only get these shirts in Gary. So anybody that you see with this shirt on, they've got it in Gary, Indiana. You will not find it in Hollywood, nowhere. So they had to come to Gary to get it. Okay, so people that have lupus and vitiligo really have to stay out of the sun. So that's why he had the umbrella. The reason he was wearing the mask is because he went through 4 countries a day, and people want to hug him, kiss him, and touch him. And so he told because his bodyguard was so embarrassed, was like, Michael, can you please take that mask off? He said, no, because I go through 4 countries a day. I'm dealing with thousands of people that want to hug me and kiss me and touch me. I don't know what they have. I don't want to catch anything. And if I do catch something, I don't want to give it to somebody else. And that was very smart of him, because there are viruses and diseases and stuff in other countries that you can catch and bring back here, i.e. the coronavirus. Okay. So, he was trying to be really smart about that. So this is one of the reasons why all of this was going on. Okay. So I'm going to take this out. Okay. We're done with that. We're done with that. Okay. And I want to put another, I'm going to put another definition in, and then we're going to look at a video. Let me see here. Okay. I have to go back to my downloads. Okay. So I want to get into what some of this stuff means as far as, here we go. Right. Okay. Let me move this to staging and put this in. What is this? Okay, we talked about lupus already, so I can remove that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put this, I'm going to put Michael back in and then get rid of that. Let me get rid of that. Okay, as you can see, he has the patchy skin. Now I'm going to add another definition here. This is why I need you to help me, Artistic, because I be going through it back here by myself. Okay. Okay, I'm putting this in now. Okay, it's uploading. And I'm going to read. Okay. It took a while to upload. Okay, here we go. Okay. So I'm going to explain what is on this. Okay, so it says MJ had lupus and vitiligo. The umbrella was to keep him out of the sun. So we talked about the autoimmune system, and I want to kind of get some definitions going here. So the definition of autoimmune, it says relating to disease caused by antibodies of the lymphocytes produced against substances naturally presented in the body. So now the next question is, what is a lymphocyte? Okay. A lymphocyte is a form of a small leukocyte, and a leukocyte is a white blood cell with a single round nucleus occurring especially in the lymphatic system. Okay. Now, we talk about antibodies, but what is the definition of an antibody? An antibody is a blood protein produced in response to a counterreacting in a specific antigen. Antibodies combine chemically with substances, which is the body recognizing as an alien, such as a bacteria, virus, and foreign substance in the blood. So what happens is when something foreign comes in, you have soldiers in your body, and it's like, wait a minute, something is invading us, and then they start attacking. And during this attack, that's what creates the antibody. Okay, that's why people who have caught COVID, they've built up antibodies in their system. Now, you do have some people who have caught COVID 2 and 3 times. Most people don't catch it again because they have the antibodies that's built up in their system. Okay, but you do have, I know a person who, I know 2 people who told me they caught COVID twice. Okay, so I also want to look up the definition while I have you guys on of antigen, so you'll know what that means. A lot of times we got to start looking this stuff up. I mean, we live in an information to society here. Okay, definition. Okay, so the definition of antigen is a toxin or other foreign substance which induces an immune response in the body, especially to production of antibodies. Okay, so that's what an antigen is. When you see these words, you guys need to start looking things up. When you get, I don't believe in prescription medicine. I've taken it and I hate it, okay, because I'm more of a natural person. But look this stuff up, okay, because you are the captain of your body. We are made in the likeness and image of Yahweh Elohim, the Lord God, and he's given us a supreme immune system, okay, that can reverse and fight anything. But you got to be careful about what you're putting in it. And I know some of y'all like, well, you big, you look at you big, you can't talk about nobody. I was bigger than this. Okay, I used to weigh 335 pounds and I lost 102 pounds. I gained a lot of it back, but I'm not 335 anymore. Okay, so once you start giving your body what it needs, it's going to balance itself out. There's something else I want you guys to look into. Look up a company called wellnicity.com. Well, N-I, then the word city.com. And that's the company that will give you a test called a neurotransmitter test. Your neurotransmitters are the chemicals in your brain that tell your lungs to breathe, your heart to beat. It controls your body. Okay. And the problem with a lot of us is that our neurotransmitters are off balance. And this is why we're having a lot of problems. So if you could balance out your neurotransmitters, you probably can lead a happy, healthy, productive life. See, a lot of people like, oh, well, I just rather just die and get out of the body and not be bothered with it no more. You see, it's not that easy. Okay. You want to have quality of life. Okay. That's what you want to have. You you want to make sure that you are living a happy, productive life. Okay. And your health is your wealth, because if you don't feel good and you're not healthy, you ain't gonna want to do nothing. Okay, I'm just telling you right now, because I've been there, done that. I was diagnosed with over 31 different health conditions, and I started reversing them holistically, drinking alkaline water, eating fruits and veggies, going vegan, getting rid of the meat, doing all kinds of, taking diatomaceous earth, vitamin D, camu, which is the purest, rawest form of vitamin C that you get out of the rainforest of Brazil. You can order it on Amazon. If you're in the Chicago area, there's a woman named Karen, Kryn. She has a spa, 1717 North Halsted. She will give you your life back. Okay. She has the best sea moss in town, magnesium oxide. She does colonics. She has a book called Soak Your Nuts, and I'm not talking about your balls, men. No. Okay, but although you should soak them nuts too, so they won't be funky. We don't want no funky balls, okay? But anyway, you got to do the research and just really look into some of these things, okay? So at this time, I would like to bring in a video of Arnie Klein, who was a dermatologist that worked with Michael. and he confirmed some things about the lupus. And so I want you guys to check out this video.
The saga of the death of Michael Jackson continues, and we welcome a very special guest tonight, Dr. Arnie Klein. They call him the dermatologist to the stars, easily the best-known dermatologist in Southern California, maybe elsewhere too. He's Michael Jackson's longtime dermatologist friend, and he's professor of medicine and dermatology at UCLA. Doctor, how did you first meet Michael?
I met Michael because someone had brought him into my office. I walked into the room with Michael, and I took one look at him, and I said, "You have lupus erythematosus." Now, this was a long word.
Lupus?
Lupus, yes. I mean, because he had red butterfly rash, and he also had severe crusting you could see on the anterior portion of his scalp. I mean, I always am very visual. I mean, I'm a person who would look at the lips of Mona Lisa and not see her smile. I would see the lips.
Was he there because of that condition?
He was there only because a very close friend of his had told him to come see me about problems he had with his skin, because he had severe acne, which many people, yeah, he did, that many people made fun of, and he used to remember trying to clean it off, and he'd gone to these doctors who really hurt him very much, and he was exquisitely sensitive to pain. So he walked into my office. He had this terrible thing wrong with his skin. So I said, you have thick crusting of your scalp, and you have some hair loss. He said, well, how do you know this? I said, because the natural course of lupus. So I then did a biopsy. I diagnosed lupus, and then our relationship went from there.
Let's fast forward. You saw him the Monday before he died.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
What was the purpose of the visit?
He came to me because basically I was sort of rebuilding his face because he had severe acne scarring. He had scarring from having a lot of cosmetic surgery. And my expertise is like it is with every one of my patients. My patients are my treasures. And I was rebuilding his face so he looked much more normal. I mean, contrary to what people said, he could not take off his nose. His nose was attached, but it looked too small. And I just was trying to get him ready to do the concert because in the way he looked in his face, he wanted to be absolutely as perfect as it could be.
Did he consult you when he was doing his plastic surgery?
No. I mean, I came onto the scene long after he'd begun plastic surgery. In fact, what I wanted to do is, stop it because I felt that, we were losing body parts in the situation.
Do you know why he was such a good-looking young man, why he even started with plastic surgery?
I don't know, because I can't definitively say, but I know that people made fun or family members of the size of his nose. He was very sensitive to that. And so he started doing cosmetic surgery. And what it's like, remember Toadie Fields very well.
Yeah, we knew her well.
Her facelift. Then she lost her leg. And the thing is, plastic surgery is unfortunate. If you want it done, there's someone who'll do it.
Correct. And how do you find the right one? I'll get to that in a while. How would you describe Michael's mental, physical condition on that Monday?
He was dancing in the office, so it's hard to say. So he was in a very good physical condition. He was dancing for my patients. He was very mentally aware when we saw him. And he was in a very good mood because very happy. And
good?
I mean, it was a very, very happy mood.
So therefore, you had to be shocked when he died.
Oh, I remember when I found out, I sat at my desk for about 5 hours. I couldn't move because I was very close to him. It's not just because he's Michael Jackson, probably the most talented performer of our age. I mean, when I lose anyone that I know, having lost my brother and my father when I was in medical school, I don't do well with death.
A doctor should feel that way, right? Any loss is a loss to him or her.
I've taken care of many of your friends, and I have to tell you one thing. I give my life to my work. I have nothing else.
Was Michael in any kind of pain when you saw him?
Not whatsoever.
Now, there are reports, doctor, that his body was riddled, I want to get this right, with needle marks when he died. Did you see any evidence of needle marks?
Well, I didn't examine his entire body.
Have you seen any in prior exams?
No, I never saw needle marks on his body. I mean, I never saw them, but I could tell you. But I didn't see a riddling of anything. People sound like he looked like he was made of, holes in him, and there weren't anything like that.
Reports he was emaciated.
He wasn't emaciated. I mean, I know dancers because I've worked with dancers many times, and dancers are very concerned by their weight. And so
that video goes on and on. You can get all three parts. But the bottom line, I wanted to show the fact that, Dr. Klein who has passed on now as well. Apparently, according to sources, it was unknown causes. I'm gonna see. Let me see if the cause of death has now been reported. Let's see here. Um, it says that he just died of natural causes. He was 70 years old, and you know. There was no cause of death announced. He passed away in 2015. Now there are rumors on the street that some Michael Jackson fanatics killed him, because even though a lot of the things that Dr. Klein was saying to Larry King in this interview may have been true, most of it was, but he mentioned in this particular video that Michael was not in any pain, and that's not true. He was in constant pain, and this is why he was on a lot of painkillers. And he's a dancer, okay? And dancers are gonna dance until they drop dead. I mean, if you go back and look at Harold Nicholas, Debbie Allen even talked about how she said, honey, he would still be doing that split and come back up. He may have had to get a hold on to a cane as he got older, but he was still working it the way he needed to work it. So I got to plug, excuse me for a second here. The plug fell out of the laptop. I got to plug it back in. So at any rate, so that was confirmation. And as you guys can see, I'll put this picture back in of Michael. That was what you call the lupus. So anyway, I want to show you guys this book. I'm going to make a copy of this page. And you guys give me a few days and I'll post the link up here. The name of this book is called Reference Guide for Essential Oils. And the book is by Connie and Alan Higley. Okay. And this book talks about the essential oils from Young Living. And I just wanted to share, this is on page 471. And it talks about lupus. Okay. And I'm going to read you some testimonies here. Now, this is a recipe for people who have lupus. And there are some case histories in this book of people who were no longer testing for lupus. Okay. So, lupus, as says in here, is an autoimmune disease that occurs when the immune system begins attacking its own tissues. Okay. So they have several oils here. Clove, Joy, Thieves, Present Time, Velar, Endoflex, Immune Powder. They have several oils and supplements that you can take. There's something called Balance Complete, Comfort Tone, Cleanse, Endoguise, ICP, Essential, Lyzyme. It cleanses the body of toxins. It supports the digestive function. A lot of people that have lupus have a thyroid problem. Okay, so that's on page 470. Now, this is a little interesting section in here now. It says, lupus is a collagen breakdown that may affect the skin, joints, and other systems of the body. It occurs because of thyroid and adrenaline malfunction. Now, this is very interesting. It says this is one of the reasons why. See, a lot of people don't understand the cause of lupus. The cause of lupus, according to this book, is thyroid and adrenal malfunction. The immune system cells malfunction, and some of the good immune cells turn and destroy other good immune cells. This attack leads to an allergic reaction. The immune cells go crazy and attack whatever is convenient for them. The endocrine system are usually affected and may shut down. In order to heal lupus, listen to this now. In order to heal lupus, it is necessary to cleanse the body, reduce the toxins, increase blood circulation, and nutritionally support the endocrine functions. When this happens, the adrenaline glands can secrete the cortisone that is necessary for connective tissue repair and maintenance. To determine whether or not the thyroid needs help, you must monitor your basal cell temperature. And it says to do that, you place a mercury thermometer under your armpit and leave it there for 10 minutes. If your temperature is below 97.6, you need to work on the thyroid. Wow. Wow. I have never heard this before. Tina Sloan, I hope you're watching this and listen to what I said, because I know you battle with lupus. My girl Christy Pace, this is deep, you guys. So listen, I'm going to read. This is one of the recipes. I'm going to say it again. It says, if your basal cell temperature is below 97.6, you need to work on the thyroid. There is something that Young Living makes called Thyromin. It says take 2 Thyromin at bedtime. If your temperature does not come up in 3 days, you will need to increase the amount of Thyromin you're taking. You take 1 upon arising along with 2 at bedtime. When your temperature gets back up to 97.6, stop taking the 1 in the morning. Gradually go off the 2 at night. Check regularly to see that your temperature continues to stay at 97.6. In addition, choose one of the following oils to work as a tissue generator. So you got to start getting your tissues generated to reverse this lupus. I'm telling you, no one's going to teach you this stuff. And I am not a doctor, okay? I am a researcher, but I can get some doctors on that are holistic and naturopaths that will tell you this stuff that your medical doctors don't tell you this. And I know people who have lupus, they're very careful. Some of them just do what they want to do. But I know some in particular that are very careful, and they gotta stay this and stay that. And I mean, it's a nightmare trying to deal with situations when you have lupus, and they have to be very conscious of what it is they do. Okay, but the bottom line is, you want to start reversing this stuff. And I know people that take lupus that are on hydrochloroquine or whatever that medication that they were suggesting you take for COVID. And that stuff ain't no good. That stuff can cause heart problems. Okay, so let's move forward. So it talks about oils to work as a tissue generator. It says these are the oils: acceptance, joy, present time, or Valor. You want to apply to the vital flex points and to the thyroid. And once again, I explained what the vital flex points were. I'll try to see if I can get a map in for you so you can see what it looks like. It says supplement with Super C chewable, and 2 Thyromin or more if needed. Now, here is a case history. This is case history number 1. This is a testimony. It says, after taking Thyromin in the following manner for 2 months, one individual was totally free from lupus. 2 capsules in the morning, 2 in the evening until temperature stayed down for 3 days, then increased to 3 capsules in the morning and 3 in the evening. Also, the oils used included was Mu Power and Valor, among others. The Mu Power is a product here that helps the immune system, okay? Because why? Lupus is an autoimmune disease. Okay, case history number 2. A nurse in a hospital in the East gave Immune Power to a patient who was leaving the hospital after another serious bout with lupus. A lot of times lupus patients have to go into the hospital because they go into lupus crisis, okay? kind of like sickle cell crisis. The patient had suffered from lupus for 22 years, but she felt better. She felt better very soon after she started using Power. And no symptoms of lupus were found in her at all after 8 days. Case history number 3. After suffering from systematic lupus for some time, one lady decided there was nothing left to try from the doctors. She turned to the oils and started applying Power, Endoflex, and Joy over her thymus and on her feet, over the VitaFlex points for the pineal and pituitary glands. I spoke of this earlier. She also began taking thiamine supplements, and after only a day and a half of applying Endoflex to her toes, she began to have some feelings return. After a while, specified unknown, the butterfly on her face disappeared and blood tests returned just fine. Okay? So you guys need to look into these products. Now, I'm going to find a picture of the VitaFlex points. All right, let's see. Okay, I found a really good picture of it so I can, let's see here, we can use this here. I'll try to put this in a system here so you guys can see it. Okay, I found one of the feet. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. I gotta go back. Okay, I'm gonna put this in because I want you guys to see this. All right, I gotta take Michael out. Okay. Okay, I'm putting them in now, and I'm going to show you the hands as well. Okay. So these are your VitaFlex points. And as you can see, once you get the chart, it tells you the different parts of your body. Now, I don't have my shoes with me. I don't know what happened to them. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go order some more. But I have Reflexology shoes that I purchased. And when you stand in them, they put the pressure points on different parts of your body and it relieves pain. It's very healing. Okay, so those are your VitaFlex points on your feet. Now I'm going to show you the ones for your hand, and it's called Reflexology Hand Chart. And it'll tell you. And this is very educational. When you see this, and a lot of it is just about putting the pressure. Okay. Here we go. VitaFlex chart. The one I tried to download, it said it wouldn't let me, so I don't know why it wouldn't let me do that. I have to find another one for you guys. And they even have it for the ear. as well. Okay, here, I'll use this one. Let me see if I can get this one okay. Because I want you to, wow, your colon is right in here. Your lung and your, oh my God, this is, I'm learning stuff with you guys. This is amazing. Okay, let's see, Vita points, hands. Okay, that one seemed to have downloaded. Okay, so I'm gonna put that one in here. I'm gonna hide this, upload. I just want you guys to see this. No one teaches these things. I tell you, if you're in the Chicago area, so this is your lung, this is your colon. Okay, so that's your left. Okay, on your left hand, that's your left lung. On your right hand, that's your right lung at the top. All of these things are connected. Your hand, it is amazing because we use our hands for everything. Your hands and your feet are very important, and they're all connected to different parts of your brain. And I remember a friend of mine used to put pressure right here on my hand, and it would stop my head from hurting. Okay, so these are things that you learn over time. So once again, I want you guys get in contact. I'm going to type her name. Her name is Sharon Stevens on Facebook. She is a nurse that sells Young Living products. She was on our show last time. Okay. Last year, she was on our show a year ago. And we talked about all of the products that can help vitiligo and lupus from Young Living. So the MU Power, the Thyromin, all of those products will help with lupus. Okay. So I'm gonna take a picture of this. I'm gonna go to the library and I'm going to put the link in. So you guys just give me a few days, okay? So let me hide this out. Once again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I know that there are a lot of celebrations or people, remembering Michael Jackson today. It is 2:23 in the morning, so I'm getting ready to go to bed. We love you, Michael. Mr. Jackson, you are a 12-year-old in the spirit now, which means you have reached the age of accountability, running around heaven, dancing and singing and doing all what you do. We love you. I will continue your legacy the way I know that you would want it to be continued. Because you're my husband, Michael's my husband. But anyway, I always say that. I mean, there's millions of women around the world, honey, who's claiming Michael Jackson as their husband. Okay, but the difference is I got the daughter. Paris is my daughter. I love you, Paris, and I know this day is hard for you with losing Daddy today, but I just want you to know, Mama, love you. It's gonna be okay, and just know that Daddy is happy in the spirit and he is always with you. He's always among us. He just has no flesh. I also want to give a shout out to George Michael because today is his birthday. All the people who have birthdays today, I know today it can be very difficult. It's very difficult when someone passes away on your birthday. I know that I found out recently, and I didn't even know this because I was in Los Angeles when this happened. I went to LA to celebrate my 50th anniversary of my birth on February 10th. And I found out like months later or weeks later that Larry Flynt passed away on my birthday. And I was a huge Larry Flynt supporter. Not so much about, what was it, Penthouse or whatever his magazine was. I don't think it was Penthouse, it was Hustler. Okay. One of the things I liked about Flint Publications is that they actually And I believe his daughter was in charge of that. But they had owned BBW, which was Big Beautiful Women magazine. It no longer exists, but I had appreciated the fact as a plus size woman, that he had a magazine like that with Flint Publications, and he always was fighting for our rights and First Amendment. I mean, he was a little raunchy with Hustler, but outside of that, Larry Flint was an amazing person, and he passed away on my birthday. And it's weird because I reached out to him a few times to do an interview. So with all that being said, if you know someone with vitiligo, if you know someone with lupus, please share this information because we're all about loving and healing one another. And it's very important that we continue the legacy today of Michael Jackson by loving, gifting, and healing the world. I love you guys and hope to see you in the next episode and see you today in Gary, rain or shine, 4008 Massachusetts, in front of the Michael Jackson Tribute Museum in Gary, Indiana, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. $5 donation is suggested. No one will be turned away. We're giving away clothes and shoes and household items and food and prizes. So come on down and get your eat on and get whatever it is you need for your home or yourself. We love you and we just want to continue to give, and love on each other. Hallelujah. And thank you for watching.